Previously on Phoenix Wright, Trials and Tribulations. So, for 5 minutes after the incident happened, yes, sirree, the owner was at Tribune on his own. Not counting the dead and the unconscious, of course. It's true that there was another customer in the restaurant. The other customer was a woman. The what now? She was sort of creepy. There it is. And she had a kind of cackling laugh. You mean like, E. That was it. That was it exactly. This is the virus that's infecting computers worldwide as we speak. MC Bomber. No. Glenn's head had more processing power than any computer, but it hadn't been infected with a gambling virus. So it's safe to say Mr. Elg was the creator of this virus, huh? Is that all you got? I'll be taking those people now. Armstrong, get that lighter. And I'm unconscious. Hold it, pal. Come show! Hello, I'm Unca Crunk, and welcome back to Phoenix Wright and the Trial of Maggie Bird. January 8th, 9:46 a.m. Good morning, Mr. Wright. Good morning, Maggie. So, what do you think is going to happen today, sir? Yesterday's session didn't go so well and ended on a giant mystery. Yeah, that's true. And we still haven't solved a single part of it yet. Are you okay, Nick? Eh? Oh, yeah, sure. Of course. I saw that little flash of doubt in your eyes. No, that wasn't doubt. That was, determination. Yeah, determination. Absolutely, 100%. No doubt here, Maggie. I'm 100% certain that I can get you. Okay, no. Hey, look. They still have ashtrays in this lobby. What? Really? Wait, no. You're trying to distract me. Why don't I believe you? It's nearly time, Maggie. You better get going to the defendant's seat. Phoenix, you are a terrible liar. How did you become a lawyer? You know that lawyer and liar are the same thing, right? No, they're not. Well, they sound the same. No, they don't. Anyway, let's go. Roger. Don't let me down, Mr. Wright. I'm counting on you. Hey, pal. Oh, hello. Quit stressing Maggie out. She don't need that. How did you know she was stressed? I was watching through the doorway. Duh. Oh. You look like you lost the keys already. Show a bit of confidence, will you, pal? Here, maybe this'll help. Huh? Have you taken up aromatherapy too? Not in a million years, pal. Don't tell me you don't remember this thing. Come to think of it, that doesn't look like one of those aromatherapy bottles. This is the small bottle that turned up in Tribulations' kitchen a couple days ago. You're the one that gave it to me, you numbskull. Wow, look at all these little bottles. Oh, they're aromatherapy oils. He's got so many they're overflowing onto the floor. Hey, wait a minute. There's one bottle that's different from all the others. Well, what do you know? And it doesn't have a label either. And it doesn't smell. We finally got the analysis results back from the lab. So, what is it? Is it the poison? Yeah, I'm afraid not, pal. It's medication. Medication? Like, for what? Yeah, for ears. Topical use only, apparently. For ears? You mean? Yeah, it's the medication Glenn Elg was using for his ruptured eardrum. What was Glenn Elg's ear medicine doing in the kitchen? Okay, victim's ear medicine found covered in unidentified fingerprints in the kitchen. Gotcha. What about the unidentified fingerprints? Anything on that? Yeah, someone screwed up, so they only had time to analyze the contents of the bottle. Another hour, and they might have gotten something on the prints, but that's going to weaken its impact as a piece of evidence. Okay, pal, this is it. Make sure your defense is impregnable today. Got it? You know, having those fingerprints would have helped come show. Today's trial. I'm gonna expose that guy for what he's done, or my name isn't Phoenix Wright. I mean, Phoenix Wright. Damn it. He's the Phoenix Wright. Arrgh. Dinner 10 a.m. District Court, courtroom number 4. Court is now in session for the trial of Maggie Bird. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Ready and waiting as always, Your Honor. Very good. Then we'll get underway at once. Yesterday, we heard the testimony of Mr. Victor Kudo. He claims to have witnessed the defendant putting a powder into the victim's coffee. However, the witness's testimony was plagued with a number of problems. A mark on the rim of the cup shows that the victim drank from it with his right hand. But according to the old man's testimony, he picked it up with his left hand. Thank you, Mr. Kudo. Furthermore, according to the witness's account, the victim was listening to the radio with an earpiece in his left ear. Yet, the victim's left eardrum was ruptured, which made him effectively deaf in that ear. Yes, amazing how many contradictions a single case can have, huh, Nick? Allow me to enlighten you, Your Honor. The world, you see, keeps turning, and we must turn with it. You've lost me already, Mr. Kudo. Don't let the mysteries of yesterday mystify you today. Only losers think like that. You've got to change with the times. That's one of my rules. Are you implying that you've resolved these contradictions? Also, how many flippin' rules do you have? 37 and a half, Your Honor. And a half? We don't talk about half, Your Honor. Oh. You know the answers to these riddles? The old guy wasn't just throwing seeds in here. He was throwing us off the scent. And today, I'll prove it. Very well. Let the first witness take the stand. And you are... Oh, bonjour, everyone. I am Jean Armstrong, the owner and head chef of Tribulations restaurant. Enchanté. Forgive me for asking, witness, but are you a woman? Oh la la, monsieur. As you can see, I am la pet and paquet gentleman, no? On the day of the incident, you were in Tribulations' kitchen. Isn't that right? Oui, sure, monsieur. Everything feels right. Lady, you're barking up the wrong tree. Wow, he's totally unfazed. Doesn't anything intimidate this guy? Very well. Your testimony, please, witness. Please tell the court what happened that day at Tribulations. Oui, volontiers. At Tribulations. We need all happening. There were just 2 customers in my restaurant. And I remember I was experimenting with some new decors that day. Like having a large mirror between the tables, for example. Oui, perhaps that is what the old man was looking at. The like earpiece and like glasses. He would have seen everything in reverse, no? Well, I mean... Mirror! Oui, un grand mirror. The most enormous mirror. Yeah, but why? And suddenly the mystery disappears. Like I said, the world keeps turning, so roll with it. That would explain the coffee cup and the earpiece conundrum. The mirror would have made everything appear back to front. What the heck? It's way too early in the morning for this to be happening to me. Except he was wearing his eyepiece on his left eye, right? Well, okay. What I'm trying to get at is the eyepiece would have been mirrored as well, not just the earpiece and which hand he drank with, that sort of thing. Now then, Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination. Okay, then. We need all happen. There were just 2 customers in my restaurant. And who were the 2 customers exactly? My, of course, the young man who died. And the other not so young man. You were referring to yesterday's witness, I presume. Yeah, what about the other man Maggie says she saw at the table? Something tells me Mr. Armstrong isn't planning to disclose his existence. We need some hard evidence first before we can bring him up, don't we? I guess I'll just have to try a different approach for the time being. I remember I was experimenting with some new articles at that day. You were experimenting with Art Deco? How come I never heard about that before today? You are not familiar with the language of interior design, monsieur? Please stay on topic. Now, why didn't you tell the court about this before? But I did, just a few moments ago. Yeah. Excuse me, Mr. Armstrong. This deco you mentioned, are you referring to some sort of decorateur? No. Art Deco is the style of design, Your Honor. He's talking about interior design, walls, ceilings, carpets, that kind of thing. Oh, yes, of course. That deco. I was trying to achieve a more lifestyle look for my restaurant. I was planning the most bold remodeling of the decor. Like having a large mirror between the tables, for example. How big of a mirror are we talking about here? Both something about 4 meters wide and, about 2 meters high. Let's see, if 1 meter is about a yard. Holy, glass in a frame, that's huge. I was intending to install it on the ceiling eventually. The ceiling? Was there a mirror on the ceiling? I don't remember. Mine, no, but I decided not to go through with it in the end. What should I do? Should I ask him more about the mirror or not? Always press harder. Unless there's a penalty for doing so. If you really had such a large mirror in the restaurant, someone would have noticed it. But there's nothing about a mirror in Mr. Kudo or Maggie Bird's testimonies. But... Objection! You didn't ask, right? You have only yourself to blame for such sloppy work. A mirror was delivered to Tribulations the day before the incident. Ah, damn. Really? As Mr. Armstrong testified, he was carrying out some design changes. As it turned out, he didn't actually use the mirror in the end. This just doesn't add up. Also, where did he get the money? He has no customers. Even if a mirror was delivered to Tribulations, it doesn't prove that it was in the restaurant on the day of the crime. If you want to doubt someone, try it. Look in the mirror. I'm sure the person looking back at you will be dubious enough. So the witness yesterday had seen the victim reflected in a mirror. Oui, perhaps that is what the old man was looking at. Normally, I'd expect people to know the difference between a reflection and a real object.
Objection!
Normally? How does normality come into this? That's lame, Trite, even for you. Are you trying to say that if something isn't normal, it is impossible? Is that it? Where does that leave the porky-headed... Wait, what? Where does that leave the porky-headed lawyer and the top-knot chick over there? And the ungodly cool guy with the mask over here? Well, Trite... Nothing here! I do not have a top knot. What do you call that then? I don't know. Google has it. I don't have a smartphone, so I can't Google it. I have no idea. Mr. Godot is correct. A lack of normality is no basis for discounting an argument. Bien, logic es wunderliche. Look up, la earpiece and la glasses. He would have seen everything in reverse, no? It's kind of hard to believe everything's the fault of a mirror, but... You think old CD saw everything through a reflection? If he did, it would explain all the contradictions in his testimony. But that just makes the situation worse for Maggie. There's gotta be something in that old man's testimony. We just gotta dig deeper. Yeah. We need all... Oh. Shazbot. Oh, am I supposed to present his testimony? Okay, no. Okay, I stand by what I said about the glasses, so let's try that. The coffee cup, the earpiece, and the HMD? Let's think back over Mr. Kudo's testimony for a second, shall we? The boy was wearing the earpiece on the same side as the green lens of his specs. No question. You can lock me up if I'm wrong. It was his left ear without a doubt. So, to summarize, we were told both the HMD and the earpiece were on the victim's left side. Now, if Mr. Kudo saw all that as a reflection in a mirror, it means both the HMD and the earpiece were actually on the victim's right side. Exactement. You see, monsieur, now that you think about it, it's not so hard, no? Unfortunately, that's where we run into a monumental contradiction with the facts. If Mr. Kudo really did see everything in a mirror, why is it that the HMD is now on the wrong side of his head? Order! Order! Mr. Wright is correct. I can't believe I just said that out loud. If the witness genuinely observed the victim reflected in a mirror, then we would expect the victim's eyepiece to have been over his right eye.
Objection!
Oh, bitter. Try. You should have a taste of this bitterness. It'll calm you down in no time. Hey, are we talking about your coffee or something completely different? You don't understand the way the witness thinks. How he thinks? You remember this, I presume? The I broke the vase sorry apology, Mr. Kudo's sworn testimony? Exactly. The old man has one very grievous habit, other than throwing seeds. The more of an impression something makes, the more muddled his mind makes it. And what's the most striking thing about Mr. Elg? Clearly, it's the victim's eyepiece. And that's my point. The old man strikes again. Mr. Elg's HMD made a big impression on the old man. I saw the earpiece and those newfangled spectacles he is wearing. Oh yes, they were both on his left ear. Do you hear? His left ear. Huh. Well, try. And that's the worst, but best impression of Kudo ever. Oh, I didn't know I was supposed to be doing an impression. Sorry. Wow, I really thought he was OCD for a minute there. The Kudo's good. Enough. I must agree that yesterday's witness was irresponsibly rash in much of his testimony. Bad luck, Nick. Looks like the boil of a contradiction you found is just a rash. A mirror can't be beaten by a handful of seeds, nor can it lie. So, what exactly was the old man looking at? Fill us in, Mr. Armstrong. Go on, tell the court. We're all ears. Oui, I can explain. Please, if you will look at the plans of la restaurant. The mirror. Alors, is everyone sitting comfortably? La mirror, it was in the middle of the restaurant, dividing the two halves. There's only one seat from which you could have seen the image of la victim. That was the seat in the table next to the victims. That was where the old man was sitting. After the terrible incident occurred, I moved the mirror so it was not in the way. But naturally, I did not touch anything else. I see no problems with the explanation we have just heard. From the table next to the victims, Mr. Kudo could have seen the victim in the mirror. Wait a minute, that's not right. What a naughty little coquette I am, confusing all the men like this. Don't worry about it, darling. Oh, did you just call me darling? We can keep up, except for the guy breaking out in cold sweat over there. I hate that guy. You said you didn't touch anything else apart from the mirror. Are you quite sure about that? Volunteers, of course. Very well, Mr. Wright, your cross-examination, if you please. Okay, I need to check something. No. Okay, photo. Check. Ha! That can't be Victor Cruz's seat because the vase hasn't been knocked over. Now, where do I present this? All right, how about here? I didn't realize we had so much evidence. Oh, I didn't mean to. I mean, Wait, what? Oh, right, I have to press Y. Third. Oh, come on. This piece of it, that's not right. Or is it? This piece of evidence contradicts the testimony we have heard, Your Honor. The crime photo? Yes. This photo clearly shows something that theoretically should not exist. Oh, okay. What on earth do you mean by that, Mr. Wright? Should not exist? Sounds like you're describing yourself, Track. Excuse me! No, then, if the defense would please clarify its statement. What is the something that should not exist in this photo? This vase. I think it's pretty obvious that this is what should not be in the picture. The vase? What possible connection does that have with this witness's testimony? Your Honor, I'm telling you that there should have been no vase on this table. At least not an intact one, because it very clearly contradicts with this piece of evidence. I'm glad I accidentally read this earlier. There is one thing that was clearly demonstrated by yesterday's testimony. Mr. Kudo broke the vase that was on the table where he was sitting. And yet, as the court can see, there is an unbroken vase on the table next to the victim. Why? Because Mr. Kudo was not, in fact, sitting at the table next to the victim at all.
Objection!
Don't be an idiot, Trot. That's impossible. That seat's the only one Kudo could have seen the victim's reflection from. Exactly! There is only one conclusion we can draw from this contradiction. There was no mirror in Tribulations that day. Your testimony, Mr. Armstrong, is an elaborate lie. Mon Dieu!
Objection!
Don't try to confuse the court, Trot. Obviously, the witness cleaned up the vase, while the police were taking their time getting to the crime scene. Unfortunately, Mr. Gallo, that doesn't quite work for me. Mr. Armstrong already testified to the contrary. In his own words, I did not touch anything else except the mirror. Well, witness, what do you have to say for yourself? Sniffle. I was right. There's no mirror in the restaurant that day. In light of this revelation, we return back to the original problem. Why did the victim have an earpiece in an ear which he couldn't hear? Ha! You only get one shot in life. There's no turning back. If you want to claim that the mirror wasn't there, then this problem is all yours. How do you explain what the old man saw? If I can answer this, then I'll be that much closer to the truth. I can feel it. Are you gonna be okay? Can you really solve this contradiction, Nick? There's more than just this one contradiction, Maya. What do you mean? Remember what Maggie told us? There was another man at the victim's table. And there was a sample CD on the victim's table. It all flies in the face of Mr. Kudo's testimony. And I think I know the reason why nothing in this case is adding up. Well, Mr. Wright, let's hear your answer. Yes, Your Honor. The reason behind all the contradictions in Mr. Kudo's testimony is simple. The victim was a phony. This case is riddled with contradictions. Yet, there is one very simple answer that clears them all up. And what is that? The incident Mr. Kudo witnessed and the incident the victim experienced were two completely different events. What? Yes, the victim that Mr. Kudo saw wasn't Mr. Glenn Elg at all. It was an imposter, a phony pretending to be Mr. Elg. Obviously, unlike the victim, there was nothing wrong with the imposter's left eardrum. That's how he ended up wearing the earpiece in his left ear by mistake. Order in the court! Settle down or I'll clear this courtroom! Why, Gramps, why don't you clear out of here, huh? What did you just say to me, you trumped up, caffeine-addicted, mask-wearing numbskull? Right. Are you saying that Mr. Kudo saw what Mr. Kudo saw was a setup? Yes. Someone pretended to be Glenn Elg and acted out the whole coffee poisoning. All for the express purpose of creating a witness out of the one Mr. Victor Kudo.
Objection.
Get real, Trot. Why would anyone want to do that? Isn't it obvious? The thing Mr. Kudo saw, the thing Mr. Kudo was most insistent about in his testimony was... The serving girl brought him a Chavachino, but she put something in it. That's the serving girl right there in the defendant's chair. I remember her well. Or at least I remember her bottom well. In her bosom. It's so hard to believe, but... There was one, and only one reason to show Mr. Kudo this fake poisoning. To show Maggie Bird in the act of poisoning the coffee.
Objection.
Are you insinuating that the waitress in the old man's story was a fake as well? It's true that there were no other customers in the restaurant at the time, but it's also true that the chef was there. He would have noticed what was happening. Exactly. That's right. Well, witness, if your restaurant really was the scene of such theatrics, you would have known about it, correct? Ooh la la, this is most difficult for me. No, it's quite simple. All you have to do is testify. You are under oath after all. Was there, in fact, a phony at Tribulations that day? The defense demands that Mr. Armstrong tell the whole truth about what happened. The defense's request for additional testimony is accepted. You will accurately explain, in detail, the events in the restaurant that day. Oui. In le restaurant. La victime, Monsieur Elg, he came to my restaurant alone. I remember the old man arrived not long after him. There were no other customers. When he got word he won the lottery, Mon Elg became very excited. It was approximately 5 minutes later that the poisoning incident occurred. No, there was no time for a phony to do the acting. Just so we're clear, there was no mirror in the restaurant after all. Je vous demande pardon, forgive me, Your Honor. I lied because I wanted this mess to be cleared up quickly. What you have just done is commit perjury, Mr. Armstrong. I will decide how to punish you later. Oui. For now, we will hear your cross-examination. Mr. Wright, if you please. He took that perjury charge a bit too well. But I'm guessing he'll be in more serious trouble after this cross-examination. Yeah, because he's an accessory to murder. Okay. La victime, Monsieur Erg, he came to my restaurant alone. Was he alone at his table as well? Oui. I saw him from La Kitchen. Yet the defendant, Miss Bird, remembers it differently. She swears there was another man at the victim's table.
Objection.
Ha! Unfortunately for you, Track. Yesterday's witness also testified that the victim was alone. Ah! You know, seeing you squirm like that reminds me of a certain coffee's bittersweet bite. What kind of coffee has he been drinking? And it's not coffee, it's love. It's love that's bittersweet. What? Hearing Maya say that makes her seem wise all of a sudden. Wait, really? I remember the old man arrived not long after Ying. By old man, you mean Victor Kudo, correct? Oui, he comes often for my special coffee. I drank your coffee once, Mr. Armstrong. It's special, I'll give you that. It's worth a sip just for the experience. Oh, you make me so happy, monsieur. You are most welcome anytime. I said it was worth one sip, nothing more. So, old Mr. Kudo arrived at the restaurant around the same time as the victim. And maybe I should ask about his arrival in more detail. Let's see. How about specifically what time it was? Out of curiosity, about what time was it when Mr. Kudo arrived? Oh no, I cannot remember, monsieur.
I believe we were told by your witness yesterday.
The crime was reported at 2:25 p.m. by a kind of scary old man, sir.
Does that perhaps jog your memory, witness?
The incident happened about 20 minutes after he arrived. So the victim must have arrived between 2 p.m. and 2:10 p.m., no? Just after 2, huh? No, that doesn't help. Thank you for your help in jogging my memory, monsieur. You are wonderful.
Damn it! I can't sit here all the time and do nothing, can I?
You gave him an avenue to make up a time. A time that fits.
The time of day will be added to the witness's testimony.
Oui, monsieur George. Everything I do it for you.
Merci bien. That's French, isn't it?
I'm glad at least one person is in a good mood. He's even humming a song to himself.
Frère Jacques, dormez-vous, dormez-vous.
Oh. I remember the old man arrived not long after him, just after 2 p.m. There were no other customers. Oh, I may as well press. Are you absolutely sure about the time? When I think really hard, I am sure it was just after 2. Oui. It is the time I stopped serving the lunch menu.
Quite right. I always break for lunch when the restaurants are serving their specials. I've been known to wind up a case early just to make it in time.
What? What? I guess you should never get between a hungry judge and his lunch.
Oh, would you look at that? It's almost lunchtime already. Hint, hint.
Witness, get on with your testimony, please. There were no other customers. So your only customers were Mr. Kudo and the victim.
Objection.
How many times do you need to ask the same thing, Track? You'd never catch me drinking the same blend twice. Huh? You're trying to establish the presence of a phony victim in the restaurant, but you're wasting your time. Can't grind birdseed to make coffee if you catch my drift. But there's a hole in this testimony somewhere, I'm sure of it. When he got word he won the lottery, Mon Elk became very excited. Wait a minute. The lottery drawing said 130, isn't it? Did you see him? No, I was in the kitchen, but I heard him. I remember him shouting, "Yes, $500,000. Presumably, the defendant heard that too. Correct? Maggie? She looked like a poor little frightened dove. And what about Mr. Kudo? The old man choked on some birdseeds as it got stuck in his throat.
It seems we now have yet another incident on our hands.
Okay. The judge handing him a time actually wasn't that bad after all. All right, hang on. Let me make sure. Where's that magazine? There, Millionaire 1:30 p.m. I'm afraid I finally got you, Mr. Armstrong. What? What do you mean? At the time in question, the victim was listening to the radio with his earpiece. The show he was listening to was Millionaire Radio. Each week, they announced the winning numbers of the $500,000 lottery ticket. Oui, that must be the show Mon Elk was listening to.
I can't see any problem with this testimony, Mr. Wright.
I can. I wonder. Well, you say the victim arrived at your restaurant after 2 p.m., correct? Oui, I am sure of it. I remember it perfectly now. I know it was that time because I had just finished serving the lunch menu. Get to the point, Track, if you have one. That show is broadcast live at 1:30 p.m. And it claims to be the most thrilling 10 minutes of your life.
It's on the air at 1:30.
Now, supposedly, the victim made some noise when it was announced that he had won. And yet, I don't believe his cry of joy could have occurred after 2 p.m. Because the show had already finished more than 30 minutes earlier by that point in time. No! This victim we've been told about has done nothing but the impossible. Listening to the radio with a ruptured eardrum, catching a show that was already over. There's only one conclusion you can draw from these facts. This victim was an imposter acting out the poisoning 30 minutes after the real murder. Yes, there were 2 Glen Elgs in Tribulations that day. The real Glen Elg, now dead, having been poisoned by the real killer, and the phony Glen Elg acting out the events for Mr. Kudo to witness.
It certainly seems that way. I mean, if that wasn't the case, how could you explain this time discrepancy?
Objection.
Quite a performance, Trot. You were almost on a roll. What? But sadly, you lack the rock-hard foundation of rhythm to build your song. What is this? Music Theory 101? Let's recap. According to your imaginative theory, it's now just after 2 p.m. The phony elk is performing a play for the benefit of Mr. Kudo. How do you explain then where the real Glen Elg is? He was probably in the walk-in freezer. I don't believe I have to spell this out for the court. However, at that time, the real Glen Elg was already dead.
That's certainly the obvious conclusion.
Objection.
Thank you, Trite. That's exactly what I was hoping you'd say. What? Now, I presume you can prove this theory of yours. Can you explain where the missing corpse went through? The missing corpse? According to the old man's testimony, there was only one other customer there. If that customer was the phony Glen Elg, then where did the killer hide the body of the real victim?
The prosecution has a valid point, Mr. Wright. If your theory is to stand up to the examination by the court, you must provide us with proof by answering the prosecution's question. Where did the killer hide the body?
Yes, Your Honor. No conjecture, Trite. Let's hear some facts for once. Show the court a piece of evidence that proves where the body was hidden. Evidence? What's with the intense pressure in here all of a sudden? I thought I had him with that contradiction. But he's turned it all around and backed me into a corner instead.
Well, Mr. Wright, the court will now hear the defense's theory and evidence. First, where was the body of the real Mr. Elg concealed?
Inside Tribune. It would have been too dangerous to take the body outside. Obviously, the body must have been hidden somewhere inside Tribune.
Interesting. But where could a body have been hidden inside a restaurant? Perhaps you would care to show the court on these plans, Mr. Wright?
Yes, Your Honor. The exact location where the body was concealed was the kitchen. The body was hidden here.
I see.
Nice supposition. The real question is, can you back it up? Yes. Where's the evidence that proves the body was hidden in that location? The medicine. Mr. Armstrong, do you recognize this bottle? No. I have never seen that ugly bottle before in my life. I only use the very best bottles, monsieur. Is the highest quality only for me?
Where was that bottle found, Mr. Wright?
Interestingly enough, Your Honor, it was found in the kitchen of Tribune. What? But I only ever use these bottles for my aromatherapy oils. But this bottle doesn't contain aromatherapy oil, Mr. Armstrong. No, it contains a medication.
What kind of medication?
I'm sure everyone remembers, don't they? That Mr. Elg visited an otolaryngologic and ear, nose, and throat doctor and was given medication that day.
You can't be serious.
I can be serious, and don't call me Shirley.
I didn't.
Oh, sorry. The defense had the contents of the bottle analyzed, and I have the lab results here. The contents of the bottle match the prescription that was given to Mr. Elg.
Really?
Glen Elg's murderer hid the body in the restaurant kitchen, at which time this bottle fell out of the victim's pocket. Mr. Armstrong, when the incident occurred, didn't you say you were in the kitchen? Mon Dieu. Yes, you know what I'm about to say. It was you who hid the victim's body. You did a fine job pretending to defend my client, Maggie Bird. However, you were setting her up to take the fall behind the Kapoor girl's back. No!
Order! Order! This is an extraordinary development. Witness, did you murder Mr. Glenelg?
Never! I could not do such an horrible thing. No! Oh, wait. That was a good one.
No! Mr. Godot! The bitterness. Every time I get lied to, I always suck down a mug of coffee. That's one of my rules.
No wonder you drink so much coffee in your line of work. Do you have the slightest idea how many cups you've had by now?
And I like to do the same to the person who lied to me. I like to take them down with my empty cup. Listen up, chef. How about a brand new flavor in your ear, my H-deficient friend?
Chef, pardon, please, you must hear me out. It is a trap. Listen to me. Por favor.
Yo habla español, Mr. Armstrong, and por favor, Spanish. I'm only gonna ask you once. Did you do it?
No. Absolutely no.
Let's hear it. You got one shot, right, Gramps? Witness, the court will permit you the chance to make one final statement. You lie under oath again, Mr. Godot's coffee mug, I'll waste you. As does my gavel.
Oh, wait, it is clear. What do they always say in the movies? I got a bad feeling about this.
Very well. Begin your final testimony, Mr. Armstrong.
The confession. It is true. I eat a body in the kitchen. A man forced me to do it. I had no choice. I had to go along with him because there was a reason why I could not refuse. But I did not kill him. I swear it. You must believe me.
You were forced. By who?
I cannot say, or I will be erased.
Let's try a different question then. When Mr. Elk died, was he really the only person at his table?
There was another man.
I knew it.
And he was telling the truth, obviously.
You may cross-examine the witness now, Mr. Wright.
Okay.
There's just one more thing I need to do.
I gotta break this guy and get him to tell us the name of the real killer.
All right.
He's not gonna give us his name unless I do something. It is true, I eat la body in la kitchen.
Did you carry the body by yourself?
Oui, I carried him, and I carried Maggie too.
Maggie too?
When she saw the victim collapse, she fainted. I could not leave her there.
But why did you hide the bodies?
A man forced me to do it. I had no choice. What man? Who is he? No, I cannot say. I fear for my life.
He's really scared.
You'll just have to put the words in his mouth, Nick.
Yeah, you're right. If he won't tell me, I'll tell him. But why would you go along with this man?
I had to go along with him because there was a reason why I could not refuse.
And what reason would that be, Mr. Armstrong?
You know, monsieur.
Yes?
Surely you cannot expect a young maiden to talk about such an embarrassment. A maiden? You're a bit old to get away with that. And a bit too male. I can't finish the cross-examination without establishing his reason, so I'll just have to prove it with evidence. But I did not kill him. I swear it. You must believe me. Okay, I guess we will start with his loan. Okay, this. You have a $500,000 debt, don't you?
$500,000? Is this true, Mr. Armstrong?
Oui. Je suis désolé. I was weak and I borrowed the money. This is Mr. Armstrong's Achilles heel. And that's why you couldn't refuse anything asked of you by this man. A $500,000 loan from a black market loan shark. You had no way of paying it back, did you? That's why you were forced to do anything this man told you to. Oui, it is as you say. Mr. Armstrong! Le tiger. He told me he was going to use my restaurant for a business rendezvous. On the day in question, he was meeting la victime in demand satire pay his own. I don't know why it happened like that. I just did what he told me to do. I had no choice. I carried the body and the inconscient Maggie out of the dining area and into the kitchen. After that, I tried to forget what I had seen. I think we can now safely say that the man who forced your hand was Mr. Furio Tigre.
I do have one further question for you, Mr. Armstrong. The poison and the lottery ticket that were found in the defendant's apron pocket. Was that your doing as well?
No, I knew nothing about that. Making it look like it was Maggie who had done it. I was not. I was not. It is despicable.
Mr. Godot, you will summon this Furio Tiger as a witness. I doubt that can be arranged today, so we will adjourn for now. Proceedings will continue tomorrow.
"30 minutes.
What?
The trial will go on. I'll see to it myself. I need half an hour to get that guy on the stand. Not a minute more." How the? Don't sit back and relax yet, Trap. No one knows if that chef is really telling the truth or not. This trial could still go either way.
Very well. Your request is granted, Mr. Godot. We will resume once Mr. Tigre is ready to take the stand. Until then, court is adjourned for a 30-minute recess. To be continued.
In the next episode, to the outro. Finally, bit of truth. So, I'm guessing Tiger was the phony elk then. We know Viola was the phony Maggie at the very least. Anywho, apparently Godot's got enough pull to get a loan shark on the stand in under 30 minutes, so we'll be picking apart his testimony next. In the meantime, up here is a playlist of my Danganronpa Goodbye Despair playthrough, and down here is a video that YouTube recommends. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!